Hey everybody! In this video I want to talk about journaling prompts that I use in my 2-week sprints retrospectives. I use those to figure out about a little bit more what went wrong in the last 2 sprints, how I can improve, and if there's something that might not be that obvious in the first moment. Hey everybody, my name is Stefan, and this channel I'll discuss stuff I use, gadgets I love, and everything that makes my life easier. This now is a video on 2 week sprints again, on the retrospectives part. So if you like this, stay with me, get a coffee, get cozy, and let's dive right in. The retrospective is one of the elements that I use in my weekly sprints after the 2 weeks when I change from one sprint to another, in order to reflect a little bit what went well, what went not that well, and how I can improve in the next sprint. How I can maybe change my goals, or how I can help myself to achieve my goals if I, for some reason, block myself a little bit. These retrospectives where I reflect, I usually like to take a journaling prompt in those and just journal a little bit in my Controllable notebook here and think about what I could improve. So today I want to give you 4 of my prompts that I use regularly that shed some insight in the last 2 weeks and maybe help me change something up or just get down to the ground a little bit more. Without further ado, let's start with number 1, and I will read those out of my journaling. Number 1. What have I done in the last 2 weeks that gave me energy, and what have I done that took energy away from me? This is a great prompt, and I like it for several reasons. One of the biggest ones is that it doesn't so much focus on the objectives or the goals, but what I have done in the last 2 weeks, and it tries to improve just my week-to-week well-being. What I like to do is take 2 columns of what gave me energy, what took energy away from me, and with these 2 columns I just write down everything. Often enough I open my calendar as well, and I go through my calendar to make sure I've not forgotten anything important, and in the end I have a list with a few things that really gave me energy, a few that took away energy from me. Typically, as I'm a little bit more introverted, I find that time I've spent with myself, reading a book, doing some gaming, doing thinking, these are the stuff that where I really recharge my battery and come out well rested and ready to take a work, social interaction, and everything else in life. On the other hand, there are some really social interaction heavy things that might drain me, like if I'm out a whole day talking to a lot of people that I know or don't know that well, and I really come back exhausted and actually just want to have some me time and don't need to talk to anybody anymore. So knowing this, I can not only space out and try to have a little bit of both throughout the week to not have too much energy being taken away from me, but I can also make sure if I see something is missing that I might add a little bit of giving me energy part to feel better at the end of the week or balance out a not that great day. The second journaling prompt that I have here is: sort out your goals from the last 2 weeks from subjectively very easy to very difficult. Why are they sorted that way, and what stands out? The idea with that goal is that you basically have a big line starting from very easy all the way to very hard. And you will see that there are objectives that you set yourselves for this 2 week period that feel very easy to achieve for you. Like, I don't know, let's say it's very easy for you to go into the gym, but it's very hard for you to eat healthy. So just bringing that on a scale actually allows you to see where you might need to have more focus on and where you might need to change something up in order to improve on this very difficult part. Often enough, these very difficult objectives are not very difficult in the thing that is very hard to eat well. It's not that hard to eat well. the way bigger part is that you're in situations where it is hard to eat well. Maybe you're out and about and it's hard to eat well, or your fridge is not that stocked, so it's hard to eat well because you've not that much healthy stuff at home, so you're way more likely to eat unhealthy. Or the first thing you see in your kitchen is that big jar of Nutella and not something healthy like, I don't know, an apple. So these are some environmental changes that you could derive from this, knowing, oh, I need more healthy stuff at home. And this should be the first thing that I see when I open my fridge or go in the kitchen, and not the thing that I really need to look for if I want to have something to eat. If I'm going out, maybe I know the menu beforehand and I've already decided that I want to opt for the salad, or I don't know, maybe I want to eat that unhealthy thing in the evening and make sure that I've basically budgeted for that throughout the day and have maybe lighter meals or very healthy meals to really enjoy this unhealthy meal in the evening. So this helps a little bit to actually see why something is difficult and what is difficult and what is not that difficult. Number 3, and this goes into the same part and is an excellent question to ask after the one we just talked about. And this is, what inner resistances do I feel when it comes to pursuing my goals, and where could they stem from? So sometimes you have objectives that you want to achieve, but there's some resistance. It's not that easy, or it comes at the cost of something else. So, I don't know, you want to get healthier, and the cost for this is not having treats and sweets every day, or moving more every day. This could be some resistance, and maybe you don't want to live that way in the end. So make sure you really know what your goals are and which resistances and why these resistances are there in the first place, so you can tackle those. As always, what I like to do in this retros, when I stumble upon one of these things, I like to think about, oh, okay, I have this resistance, why is it and what can I change to still reach my goal, but maybe lessen the resistance. That does not mean brute force through the resistance, but if I figure out why the resistance is there, then I can tackle it. Let's do an example. I want to go to the gym, but the only time I can go to the gym is very early in the morning. And when going early in the morning, I need to sacrifice sleep, and I have an inner resistance to sacrifice that sleep, because sleep is healthy. I need that sleep for my job to perform well. Or it's really cozy in the bed and I don't want to get up early in the morning when it's still very cold just to go to the gym. So these would be things where understanding the resistance could actually give me some leverage to work through it. I could, for example, think, oh, maybe instead of waking up early when it's very cozy, I can go to bed later and go to the gym in the very evening, if that is an option. Or I can think about something else where I can just get more sleep in order to mitigate a little bit the whole perspective sleep is healthy and I need the sleep to perform at work. These would be some ways to try to understand and honor the resistance in yourself without just brute forcing through. The fourth prompt is, which goals were outside of my control? How can I change them to have more control over them? This comes from Stoic philosophy, and the Stoics like to focus on stuff you can control and don't bother with the things you can't have control over. So if you want to work out and go running, for example, every day, and you could not do that because the weather was really, really bad, this would be outside of your control. So you might want to change up a little bit and have a plan B, which would be in your control, to say, oh, I can't go running today, but I can do some core stability work to try to work towards my running and not just skip this day entirely. Or an objective of you, let's do financial one, for example, could be to have a higher sales volume for your personal business, for example. You want to sell, I don't know, 1,000 more books in this 2 weeks. You would be very big if you sell 1,000 books in 2 weeks. But let's say this would be the case. And selling something is something that you don't have that much control over because it requires other people to actually buy them. So a better objective would be where you would have more control over is to, for example, do more sales shows. And with these sales shows, there I have control over how many of those sales events I do. And I cannot guarantee that these sales events will net in actually the sales amount that I need, but I have full control over them. The same part would be that at some points you might, if you want to lose weight, you maybe not really know if it's realistic to lose a certain amount of weight in 2 weeks. But what you can focus on instead, where you have full control over, is how healthy you're actually eating. So even if you fail to meet your expected weight loss goal in 2 weeks, you can meet all of your nutritional goals, how much you want to eat, what you want to eat, etc., and still make meaningful progress to your goals without being demotivated that for some reason you get constipated or whatever and you just did not meet your weight goals. So these are things which I like to do review on in the retro. I usually pick 1, maybe 2 prompts and work my way through them, really write that down. I use stream of conscious writing most of the time, just my notebook, a pen, and just write down a few pages most of the time, 1 to 5-ish maybe. And after I've written down all the things, all the thoughts, I like to actually take a second pass and use a red marker. And I mark everything that I've found of most important and that I want to follow up on those in this retrospective. So I do 2 passes basically. First is just write down, second pass is to actually not edit, but see what was a good idea and what was total bullshit that I wrote down. And from there on, I start my new sprint. And I get a little bit more knowledge and from a different perspective. This is one of the main reasons I like to do these prompts, because they force me to think about stuff from a different standpoint than I think about them each day. I hope that helped you. Maybe you want to actually use one of those prompts to use them in your retrospective. If you do, please let me know how you found them. I find them really inspiring and I would love to know how you guys do that, or if you use other prompts as well. Like always, if you want to see another video of mine, maybe check out this one and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much. Goodbye.